Namaskar, Nileshok here, and welcome back to another session with Jeevan Rao. Namaskar, Jeevan.
Hello, Nilesh. In fact, uh, that single evidence, I've actually used that as an astronomy evidence, whereas it also is a conflicting for my chronology evidence.
Interesting. Is this something short? Because if it's not short, we can take it as a separate session. But if you think it can be easily explained, then you can. Otherwise, we'll take it as a separate session. I mean, let that be even a hook for people, the mystery for people to come back and say, what is that conflicting evidence? How do
Yeah,
you
we
want to do
we
it?
can
Up to you.
we can plan that for next session.
Next session. Okay, so let's keep that. So there is some conflicting evidence. Okay, and what you're saying is it's a kind of a mixed bag, because for
Yeah.
chronology it is goes against you, so to say, against your claim. But from astronomically I don't know what it is, but it appears to support the
Mm.
claim. Fair. Okay.
Yeah. Correct.
And you said something which is great again. So I'm glad you are on the same page, that any scientific theory, any scientific claim, it's theory, and when you look at the relevant evidence, the evidence will fall into two different categories, and there could be few more categories, such as some evidence cannot be even objectively tested. That also
Mm.
happens. Like it has happened to me. Like the way the description in the Mahabharata is, nobody can even make a sense out of that description. Okay, like say for example, the planets are going away from the sun. Okay, now you can make some interpretation out of it, but that may not be the only interpretation, or
Mm.
planets are going away from the moon. Now what is happening? Sun you can understand, because all the planets are to the east of the sun and they're going in the
Mm.
eastern direction. But what about the moon? Because
Mm.
moon will go fast, right? So there are these issues like that. But usually, if you have a theory, a scientific theory, because that means it has to be, it should take all the evidence, relevant evidence, and turn it into objectively testable evidence. And if that happens, then we should able to take all the evidence and split that into the evidence that matches for your theory, corroborates your theory, and evidence that goes against, conflicts with your theory. And I'm saying this not for you, I'm saying this for the benefit of audience, because they some people watched, many people watched the debate, three-part debate between me and Dr. Manish Pandit. And then since Manish Pandit cannot show anything else, and then one thing that he just moved something by the 3 days, which is also leads to a lot of contradiction for his own claim. He moved the date of the starting date of the Mahabharat war. And I mean, I have to ask, like, um, go back to Professor Achar. No, Professor Raghavan is not there, and ask, like, is he okay with that moving of the date? And still the question comes, why did somebody started on 22nd November, and now why are you moving on 25th? The only reason is that he wanted to match the last day of the Badrama coming on the Shravana Nakshatra, and it creates a more problem. But people take that Badrama observation, those people who don't put any tapasya to read his work or my work, and says, okay, but that conflict, so isn't that you are wrong? That is like people not understanding how even a simple game of tennis is played. So when a
Mm.
powerful tennis player wins even the best of five, and let's say he wins like fabulous 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, best of five, even then a person with a little bit of common sense would know that there is a good possibility that the other party would have still scored few points against this player.
Mm.
Still the score may look 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, and still that person has scored some points. So in the scientific theory, you will always find some conflicting observation. I mean, that's not a surprise. So you said something, I don't know if you meant, did you mean the truth likeness score, or like, yeah,
Exactly.
right? So science has a method to deal with the conflicting observation. Okay, so I'll come to that truth likeness score at some point, maybe next time. But what you're saying, based on what you said, that your truth likeness score for you, whatever your claim is, I mean, I know what the claim is, but I'm saying that claim is like a 90 is to 1 or 89 is to 1 if there are 90 references. Fair?
Correct. Correct.
Okay, which is very impressive, by the way. And if that is true, and if it's validated, and we should invite the skeptics to take your claim and critique it brutally, okay, if they have a guts to do it. Okay. And maybe, you know, organize a debate. I mean, I'll be happy to organize the debate, but we can do that on the Sangam, we can do this on Jaipur Dialogues, we can do on the Saptology, and I would love to do it. See, as long as I am not the party with the claim, I can do I can be the
Yeah.
good moderator, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
frankly, finding good moderators or even a single moderator is being a challenge.
Mm.
That's why when Dr. Pandit and myself, we did it at Sangam. Finally, we chose the format. It's like uh, cameras, you know, the
Mm.
cameras were the moderators because we couldn't find a moderator. And it's not just about the availability of time or anything. Honestly, the person who has that depth in Mahabharata text, so that they can understand what we are claiming, and also
Mm.
scientific acumen, logical reasoning, is simply not there. I mean, there are very few, and even that is what we struggle. So there is one reference which conflicts with it, and we'll do a separate session on that, because that could be a elaborate discussion. Let me see. Okay, so it is robust. There is a one conflicting observation. And is that the same as the Pushya Nakshatra, or it's some different reference? Like, do you want to discuss the Pushya Nakshatra reference, or you want to do it some other time?
I mean, are you asking about that conflicting observation?
Yeah, that we
That
will do another time, right? You
discuss?
said that can be elaborate, so we may take it another time.
Hmm.
But no, the last question was for this session. So I asked my questions, that it is robust, that there is a conflicting observation, and the hanger, the hook that you had used, um, that there is a reference in the Mahabharata text that talks of the first day of Kali Yuga as equal to the 18th day of the war, the same day as the 18th day
Hmm.
of the war, but also Pushya Nakshatra. Is uh,
Hmm.
is that something we should discuss in this session, or something we'll leave it for future?
Yeah, I think we can discuss chronology evidence,
Okay,
uh,
let's do
which
that.
lead to 18th day of the war,
Yeah,
and then we can discuss astronomy evidence during the next session. That can be done.
perfect. Okay.
Okay, so let's. I will start from the beginning. Mahabharata text, for me actually, in fact, it sets the tone for Kali Yuga research in the Adi Parva second Adhyaya itself,
Hmm.
where who is that
Hmm.
Sauti Muni
Yeah.
speaks to rishis, and he says that in the interval between Dwapara and Kali, the armies of Kauravas met in this Kurukshetra.
Yeah.
Okay, so the narration starts from that reference actually, the
Yes.
interface. So
Antareshchaiva,
Antare
something like that.
Chaiva.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that gives a broader reference. I mean,
Hmm.
that gives a broader time frame.
Yeah.
Again, think of it like an approximation. Now,
Yes.
even within chronology evidence, we are going to use the approximation technique. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, approximation technique. So then, in the second parva, Sabha parva,
Hmm.
now Duryodhana has uh, visited Pandavas Indraprastha palace,
Hmm.
and he's humiliated while visiting.
The Maya Sabha. The Maya Sabha.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
Maya Sabha.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he comes back to his father,
Hmm.
where now Dyuta is in his mind,
Hmm.
that he has to invite Pandavas to have a Dyuta.
Hmm.
So they both discuss with each other, Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana,
Yeah.
and this news goes to Vidura
Hmm.
that they are planning for a Dyuta,
Yeah.
uh, Dyuta Krida.
Right.
Okay, so the moment Vidura listens about this, he realizes that Kali is at the hand now.
Okay.
The word Mahabharata uses is Kali Dwara,
Ah.
and he rushes towards Dhritarashtra to warn him that
Yudhishthir,
this
you mean?
no Dhritarashtra,
Oh, okay. Dhritarashtra. Okay, got it. Yeah.
yeah, warning him that it will in the sense like it will bring Kali if
Huh.
you give permission for this Dyuta Krida.
In the spirit of Raja Kalasya Karanam. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also Yeah, he uses Kali Dwara in the
Hmm.
sense inviting Kali. That Kali is at
Yes,
the. That's what the translations give.
right, right.
And also in Sabha Parva, actually, there is one reference that I had to clarify from you.
Sure.
In fact, you have used that in your book actually. When did Mahabharata war happen?
Okay.
That Duryodhana, while expressing his feeling to Dhritarashtra, his father, he
Hmm.
says that Nadvam.
Hmm.
You have translated that as Dwapara,
Ah.
but can you please explain me how you translated
Okay,
that?
no, good one you ask, and I have to ask you the meaning of a nadvam. See, this is where thank you for asking that question. In fact, that brings up that same subject. Like, do I translate it wrong? Okay, and I should take ownership if I'm using somebody's translation. But I will tell you, including that nadvam, and most, I mean, I have not translated. I am using the translations of many Sanskrit translators. You know, the people
Mm,
with Acharya and Mahamahopadhyay and PhDs and all this, from all these 10, 15 different translations that we referred to in the previous episode. So that Nadvam, so if that is wrong, then I'm guilty as charged, at least for using it. I don't know the original meaning of it, and you can tell me since you have done that research and you're asking me. But at least two, three people. So the one person where I found it is in the work of Dr. P.V. Vartak.
mm,
And Dr. P.V. Vartak is not claiming that he found that reference, meaning he is translating Nadvam as a Dwapara.
mm,
He is finding from the previous Mahabharata researchers. Okay, so what happens, I mean, there is a, so I will ask you the meaning, but before I ask the meaning, I'll say if the meaning is wrong, there is a lesson for all of us, you, me, and even those people who are listening, that we should not ever get into authority fallacy. Somebody
mm,
is like a expert in Sanskrit, Guru Mahamahopadhyay, some Acharya, or some professor, PhD, and therefore that is correct. No, that's an authority fallacy. It's a good starting point that somebody is a
mm.
knowledgeable, so we should say, okay, that must be right. Okay, so it's okay to accept, believe, but always verify, like what they say in a
Correct.
business world. So what is the word of sorry, what is the translation of nadvam or nadvam?
Nadvam actually,
Hmm.
in the context of that specific Mahabharata reference,
Hmm.
means like rope
Oh,
or a
okay. Rope
uh,
or a string,
yeah.
yeah.
What that verse is,
Yeah.
Andaneva Yugam Nadam.
Yes.
Here in this context, Yuga does not mean a time span.
Huh.
Yuga actually means a
Ah.
vehicle. So what
Yeah.
Duryodhana is saying is, in this age is like a blind driver,
Oh, okay, okay.
like a bullock cart. A
Yeah.
blind person is holding the rope of the bullock cart.
Yeah.
So that meaning. Nadam means a rope or string.
Rope. But you are saying even the word yuga in this particular verse means a vehicle. Huh?
Yeah.
So you know what that says? It's like a yuga. I was talking with Professor Balram Singh, and he actually gave me this framework, not the 4-part framework, but he gave me. He said, so we had like a 3-hour long chat, and I mean we talk all the time, and he said, think of it as based on what I was giving him about the yuga. He said the way he saw it, what I was blabbering. He said, okay, that looks to me like a samashti and vyashti, like there is a very generic definition yuga in the sense of a period of time, an interval of
Mm,
time, but when it gets into vesti, then we have all kinds of different definitions. So even the vehicle, see, vehicle, you sit for a certain time, you wait in vehicle, you sit for achieving certain objectives, so there is that time element is there, while you are sitting, and so it is used. So wow, you gave me new one additional definition of a yuga, and thank you. Okay, and so Nadvam, I just simply copied the translation, and it was not a main key thing for my thesis. In fact,
mm.
I use that only in the sense of that the Kali Yuga is the Yuga related is a very complex issue, and that needs to be studied separately. And guess what? Uh, you have studied it now.
Yeah.
Okay, so my prediction in the sense that it should be studied separately, at least came out correct. I didn't know who was going to do it. That happens to be you now. Congratulations. Okay, so Nadvam, guilty as charged. I did not translate it. I just simply took it as a translation, but I did look at 3-4 translations, and many people are actually mistakenly translating as a Dwapar too. And some people are correctly translating as what you said. That is also good to see. Okay, yeah. So chronology you are going. So Sabha Parva you are, and so Duryodhana. Yeah.
Then so now what we know is this discussion between Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra is happening at least 13 years before the war. Okay, so now due to Vidura's reference, we know that it was at least 13 years before the war. It was not Kali Yuga. When thinking like, if we give permission to this, Kali will enter.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking. So now we have a lower bound. Let's say that 13 years before the war, we don't have Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
Then comes Vanaparva reference. We have discussed that in our previous session, where Hanuman says that Kali Yuga is approaching soon.
Yeah, going to begin soon, kind of thing.
Yeah. So during the Yuga theory of Hanuman, he states that Kali Yuga is going to come soon.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, we will come back to this reference while we are discussing of other researchers' claims.
Okay, so that won't be today. We will do it some other time. Yeah. So what you are suggesting is, it appears you are going to do the Purva Paksha backwards after, and that is not bad thing at all. I mean, Khandan and Mandan, but it's also okay to do Mandan and then Khandan. So you will do Mandan first, establish your theory, and sometimes it's important. Actually, I think of it, I use the similar approach, meaning I establish my Mandan first, and then the Khandan of other claims. Because I had a plan to do Khandan of others, and I saw what a childish and juvenile claims and what it is. And I said, if I start writing that, I will never able to get to writing about my own claim. So that's why the first book I wrote is, let me say what I want to state, and then the show. Okay, so we will do that some other time, but let's not forget that. So you will discuss that Hanumana reference when you look at the claims of other researchers related to Mahabharata and Kali Yuga. Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay, so now with the help of
Vanaparva.
This Vanaparva reference, we know that at least 1 year before the war, like before Pandavas started their Agnatavas.
Yeah.
So that's 1 year before the war, the beginning of their Agnatavas, right?
Yeah.
So going by a very lenient time frame, let's say that at least 1 year before the war, it was still Dwapar.
Yeah.
It was not Kali.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in Udyoga Parva, the conversation between Krishna and Karna, where Karna rejects Krishna's proposal to join Pandavas.
Right.
Then Krishna warns Karna, saying that when you enter the battlefield, you see these signs.
Yeah.
There will be no Krita, there will be no Treta, there will be
I remember. Yeah, correct. Yeah, and he doesn't say explicitly the Kali, but he's saying that it won't be Krita, it won't be Treta, it won't be Dwapar. Right?
Exactly.
So the intelligent person can understand what he's referring to.
And also it's the theory that decides what we observe, right?
Yes.
A person who is not concentrating on beginning of Kali Yuga, he will only take it as a metaphor.
Correct.
For distraction.
Correct.
Since my theory is based on Kali Yuga, and I am looking for evidences related to Kali Yuga, this Udyoga Parva reference and some other Parvas reference all fit like a Rubik's cube.
Yeah.
As I said, a stray evidence will not make a sense.
Correct.
When you combine that with other related evidences, you will get a clear picture.
Agreed. And so let me just intervene there. And so you made a very important point is that it is the theory that tells us what can be observed. And so I'll tell you, whereas I use that reference in my book, that Krishna telling Karna that when the war begins, finally, you are not agreeing to coming on my side or avoiding the war. And you will see like a Kali Yuga, something like this. Yes, I would say I also took it in a metaphorical sense. Again, because I was not focusing on the Yuga or Kali Yuga at all. So you are very right, which is to say one reference, just like there are layers of it, one reference, depending on which context you are interpreting that reference, can give you a
Okay.
different insight. Go on. So you are at the you are at the Udyog Parva, and Krishna telling this, and he's saying still the Kali Yuga has to come.
Yeah. Okay. Now from Vanaparva, we know that at least 1 year before the war, it was Dwapara.
Huh.
Okay. Now, due to what Krishna is saying is, now one important reference from Krishna's statement is Krishna states that when Karna sees Bhima killing Dushasana
Okay.
and drinking his blood, it won't be Krita, Treta, Dwapara. So this happens on 17th day of the war.
Correct.
Okay, so it's safe to assume that till 17th day of the war, uh, the way I interpret it, since Krishna is not explicitly saying that Kali Yuga will begin, I mean, he's stating that like from the moment Karna enters the battlefield till he sees Bhima killing Dushasana, there won't be Treta, Satya.
Dwapar, yeah, correct.
Okay, so the way I see it is the final stages of transition.
Impressive.
Final stages of transition, not Kali Yuga began on that specific time. It's like indicating the transition.
Yeah.
In fact, we can even revisit this later. You can find this moral degradation among both sides, starting from 10th day till 18th day.
Right. Interesting.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is rich. I mean, we are doing great. You have to find, since you have gone into so much depth, we don't want to miss these insights. Even these insights, like you said, even the moral degradation, the way they are fighting, even from the 10th day to the 18th day, or something like this, or even the fact you are saying, see, people would be even impressed and very happy if you just say that the Kali Yuga began, the transition Yuganta happened sometime even the 18th days or somewhere in that time. I mean, even the Mahabharata is sufficient for them. But you are saying it's not just the Mahabharata era. It's not just the sometime in the Mahabharata. It's saying the Mahabharata war, and not just the year of the Mahabharata war. You are saying down to the days. You are getting to the 18 days, and even now you are adding that resolution, the granularity between the days. Very fascinating. Yeah. Go ahead. I mean, whatever else you want to add there. I mean, just the chronology.
Yeah. So now this set of Krishna statement gave us one more approximation in locating the first day of Kali Yuga. So now it gave from 10th day till 18th day, approximate region.
Right.
Okay, and then in Bhishma Parva, during the Yuga theory of Sanjaya that we had discussed previously, Sanjaya mentions that at present people live for 2000 years. I mean, we don't know in what sense he is saying 2000 years, but we know that it was Dwapara since he mentions at present, and also previously he had mentioned that people in Dwapara live for 2000 years. So we know that when he says at present, he is speaking of Dwapara.
Right.
And then in the same Adhyaya, he tells to Dhritarashtra that the amount of Dwapara that is remaining is small. And this conversation is happening a day before the war.
Yes. So before again, so now you are giving a very precise boundary. So you have started with the approximate reading on the vernier caliper, but now you are reading at the finer scale, and you're saying, hold on, even the 13 years before, it's still Dwapara, it's not Kali Yuga. 1 year is not, 1 month before is not a Kali Yuga yet, like the Krishna and Karna. And even the 1 day before, it's not a Kali Yuga yet. That's what you're saying. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And then there is no explicit mention of Dwapara anywhere, saying that at present it's Dwapara. At least I have not found any reference from Mahabharata post Bhishma Parva which says that at present it's Dwapara. Okay, and then and the Shalya Parva on the 18th day, Krishna mentions that Praptam Kaliyugam Vidhi, that know that Kaliyuga has begun, while he speaks to Balarama. Correct. So that gives the pinpoint location that 18th day of the war. Okay, and also this 18th day of the war is corroborated by Arivamsha also.
How
by
so?
Harivamsha Purana.
What particular reference of Harivamsha corroborates this?
Harivamsha Purana, in the first book of Harivamsha,
Yeah.
it says that
Uh,
uh, in the Ashwatthama kills the remaining warriors while they are at sleep.
yeah. Which
When
is
he carries out this cruel deed,
hmm.
the story relating to Dwapara will come to an end, and
Ah.
the next verse states that this portion of Shiva, when he disappears,
Hmm.
the age of Shiva will start. I mean, the age of
Kali.
uh, yeah,
Yeah,
age of Kali
beautiful.
will start.
Yeah, see, there is a. I mean, if you are familiar with Mrs. Rupa Bhatti's research with the Ardra and
Mm,
Mrugashirsha and the Nataraja and then that Ardra Purnima festival and the bhog that is given, the food stuff that is offered to Shiva Nataraja, it is called a Kali bhog. Okay, I mean, I don't know if you've seen that. She has shown Kali in all different ways, and Kali how connected to the Rudra, how connected to
mm,
Shiva. Wow, how fascinating! And of course, in the Mahabharata, you have the description of a Nataraja. You know, Nitya Nartaka. Shiva Rudra
yeah,
is described as a
yeah.
Nitya Nartaka. You know, so just fascinating. I had one question there. I might have forgotten. Okay, so the incarnation or Ansha of a Shiva is referring to Ashwatthama, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's in fact in
Mm,
a verse previous to this yoga business, what I said,
mm,
right?
mm.
The it again states that when the Samsha of Ashwatthama kills the, yeah, it's like a recurring thing.
Recurring
Amsha of
theme. Okay,
Shiva is
so
Ashwatthama.
Ashwatthama is identified with a Ansha avatar of a Shiva, Ansha of a
Yeah.
Shiva somewhere. Okay, and one thing I also should admit, just like with the Udyoga Parva, you said people, unless you are working, you have the theory of a yuga, you're working on a theory of a yuga, you might take it metaphorically or miss the reference. And I admitted that I took it metaphorically. Even the last reference, Krishna talking to Balarama, like Praptam Kalyugam Vidhi,
Mm.
I will admit that I also took it metaphorically. Like, let's assume that as if the Kali Yuga has begun. So I took it in
Mm.
that way because, again, I had nothing to my theory. In my theory, there is no element of a Yuga or Kali Yuga because my theory simply says all astronomy descriptions of a Mahabharata are astronomy descriptions of the sky of Mahabharata times. That's so there was no yuga. So I also took it metaphorically. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever the translation goes on. Okay, but great. Once you have a theory, and therefore you need a statement of a theory.
Mm.
Until then, you're not able to say whether this corroborates or not. You cannot be
Exactly.
wishy-washy about the statement of a theory and not even able to state your theory. That is the problem with that is the problem
And
with
yeah,
everyone. Yeah. Okay.
contrary to the belief of most Mahabharata researchers,
Hmm.
what I found out from my research is uh, dating of Mahabharata war is independent of Kali Yuga,
Hmm.
but dating of Kali Yuga is dependent on the Mahabharata war.
Wow. Okay, you have to, and we can stop on this. We went longer in this session. This one you should mark it as your quote. Okay. So I actually you told that to me before, and I shared it. I rewrote and shared it in a social media. But I want you to do this after our session. Why don't you today post that on the Twitter? Okay. So quote it and write down next to that Jr. Jeevan Rao. Okay. Very very important. No, this is good. So can you repeat that, and maybe we can stop on that, and then I'll tell you what I want to ask you in the next session. So what is that summary which I'm going to say Jeevan Rao's quote? What is that?
Dating of Mahabharata war is independent of Kali Yuga,
I would agree. Yeah.
but dating of Kali Yuga is dependent on Mahabharata war.
You mean Mahabharata dating or Mahabharata war?
Yeah, yeah, dating of
Dating,
Mahabharata war.
dating of a Mahabharata. Interesting. So second part, I would love to know from you. In fact, that we will do in the next session. The first part, I completely agree, and therefore, precisely for that reason, I could date the year of Mahabharata war. I don't know whether you agree or not, and we can discuss that next one too. But I could come up with the timing of Mahabharata war without any reference whatsoever to the Kali Yuga or Yuga in
Mm.
general. Okay,
Mm.
very good. So you have given, actually, I will say, and my audience, I mean, let's hope that our audience agrees with it. I will tell you, you have given so much for me to digest. Okay, so much for me to digest. So yes, you are writing blog, and that's good. And you said that you have taken some inspiration from me and writing a book. So you have to speed it up. And I will definitely, I mean, again, I don't want to be intruding, but I would say I would love to write a forward to your book.
I am
Of
really
course.
glad that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am grateful to you.
Yeah, but of course you can get some more intelligent and more what you call famous people to get to write the forward too, and that will be perfectly fine. I'm just an ordinary guy, relatively speaking, but I would love to write it, because this is coming out fascinating. So let's stop on this. But next time, what I want to ask you, I'll just take that quote and we will start with that quote. How's that? Like,
Yeah,
the dating,
perfectly.
it doesn't need Kali Yuga, but to know when the Kali Yuga began, we need to know the Mahabharata war, Mahabharata evidence, and Mahabharata dating. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We have given enough for folks. You have given enough for folks to digest. I think that will take them a while, to digest this. So definitely they need the book. I see the need. Otherwise, people can only understand so much from these conversations, these type of conversations. All right. So we will stop today, okay, on this session. Okay. Namaskar.